For almost his entire career, Lionel Messi carried an idea that, because it was repeated so often, many people ended up believing it was true, that he was too quiet, too calm, too proper, that, unlike other giants of football, he did not need to shout, shove, or step into psychological wars to dominate a match. Messi was the silent genius, the one who destroyed without making noise, the one who humiliated without getting dirty, the one who answered with the ball and nothing else. And precisely because of that, for years, there were rivals who made the same mistake. They confused his calm with weakness. They confused his silence with passivity. They confused his serene face with a lack of fire. They thought they could provoke him. They thought they could take him out of the match. They thought they could wound his pride without paying consequences. And then that night against the Netherlands arrived. A night that was not just a simple quarterfinal match. It was not only a World Cup duel. It was not only a battle to make it into the Final Four on the planet. It was much more than that. It was the perfect stage for the world to discover something that had already been there, hidden in plain sight. That the angry Messi, the wounded Messi, the challenged Messi might be the most dangerous version of all. Because that night they were not playing against the usual Messi. That night they woke up the wrong Messi. Even before the match, the atmosphere was already charged. It was not just any meeting. Argentina arrived carrying enormous emotional weight, with the pressure of building something great, with the feeling that this World Cup could be Messi's last great assault on the trophy he still lacked. On the other side was the Netherlands, a tough, uncomfortable, competitive team with experience, craft, and a lot of personality. And on top of that, there were the words, the statements, the pre-match noise, that football habit of planting little provocations before big games. Comments here, gestures there, phrases that seem harmless, but in a locker room turn into gasoline. And Messi, even if many do not understand it, listens. Messi notices. Messi remembers. Messi does not need to answer immediately. He does not need to put on a show, but he keeps it. He always keeps it. The match began with the natural tension of one of those nights that weigh tons. Every 50-50 ball felt like it was the last one. Every foul ignited something. Every protest added more electricity to the atmosphere. Argentina played with the pressure of a dream. The Netherlands with the confidence of a team that believed it could break that dream. And in the middle of it all was Messi, moving as always, with that strange mix of absolute calm and constant threat. He walked, observed, seemed to measure everything with a cool head. But beneath that serenity, something else was already starting to cook. Because big matches are not played only with tactics. They are played with pride. They are played with character. They are played with invisible wounds. And that night, every collision, every word, every gesture from the opponent kept bringing Messi closer to a place we almost never saw him reach. When Argentina struck first, with that brilliant Messi assist to open up the Dutch defense, the match seemed to settle. There, the usual Messi appeared again. The surgeon. The one who sees a pass no one else sees. The one who understands chaos better than anyone. While others run, he interprets. While others rush, he decides. And when he scored the second from the penalty spot, it seemed like Argentina had total control. It seemed like the story was going exactly where Messi wanted it to go. It seemed like the match was heading toward a glorious night, yes, but still a normal one within the greatness of a World Cup. And then everything fell apart. The Netherlands did not surrender. They started to push. They started to make things uncomfortable. They started to turn the match into a war. The fouls multiplied. The arguments exploded. The benches caught fire. The referee lost control. And in those kinds of scenarios, football stops being only football. It becomes a test of composure, a battle of nerves, a constant provocation, a brutal question. Who can endure more? Many thought that kind of context could take Messi out of the match, that the friction would shut him down, that the emotional violence of the game would reduce him. Because for years there had been that fantasy, the idea that you had to hit the number 10, provoke him, wear him down, trap him, make him angry, as if rage were poison to him. But that night made it clear that it was not. For Messi, rage can also be fuel, and that was what was truly terrifying. Because we did not see a Messi out of control, we saw something worse for the opponent. We saw a Messi emotionally on fire, but with his talent fully intact. We saw a leader who not only wanted to qualify, but wanted to answer back, to punish, to send a message, to defend his own, to defend his shirt, to defend his moment, to defend his legacy. Every time the tension rose, he did not hide. On the contrary, he got more involved in the match, not less. He started to play with the fury of someone who understands that it is no longer only about getting through the round. It is about showing who is in charge out there. It is about making it clear that Argentina's shirt is not touched for free. It is about the fact that if you are going to try to humiliate him, you had better be ready to hold his gaze. And yet, football has that wonderful cruelty of never letting stories stay still. Argentina led 2-0 and seemed to have everything under control, but the Netherlands came back. They pulled one back. Then they equalized in an incredible way with the very last breath. And suddenly everything changed. What had looked like a solid victory turned into a nightmare. The stadium went from hope to horror. The match went into extra time with Argentina's heart squeezed in its throat. And that is when another fundamental detail of that night appeared: Messi's true emotional weight. Because in those kinds of matches, when they equalize like that, when you feel that destiny has just betrayed you, many collapse, many panic, many break. But Messi did not break. Messi kept going. Messi held firm. Messi pushed. Messi became the emotional thermometer of an entire national team. Not only with the ball, with his presence, with his gaze, with the silent message that nothing was over yet. And that is leadership too. For a long time, some people wanted to measure Messi by standards that were never his. They wanted him to lead by shouting. They wanted him to give movie speeches. They wanted to see him act like other historic captains. But Messi leads in another way. Messi leads with the weight of his aura, with the certainty he transmits, with the feeling that as long as he is still standing, everything is possible. And that night, in the middle of chaos, he proved it again. Then came the penalty shootout. The moment when a World Cup can be reduced to seconds. The place where history becomes a coin tossed into the air. The stage where heroes are born and tragedies too. And there, once again, Messi did not hide. He stepped up. He took responsibility. He scored. And then he watched. He waited. He endured. Until relief came. Until Argentina won. Until madness erupted. Until suffering turned into release. But the match did not end with the final whistle. No, that night left an image far bigger than the result. It left Messi staring at the opposing bench. It left Messi carrying all the built-up tension. It left Messi letting loose a phrase that went around the planet. And suddenly the man so many had described as cold, shy, or detached from emotional battles became the face of one of the most intense scenes of the entire World Cup. And that was when the world understood what Argentina had already been feeling for some time, that Messi was not playing with talent alone. He was playing with hunger, with pride, with hurt, with memory, with a fierce need to conquer the only thing he still lacked. He was not just a genius trying to win matches. He was a legend facing time, pressure, the weight of history, and the last great chance to close his career with the image he deserved. And when, along that road, someone decided to add provocation to the fire, the only thing they accomplished was making him even more unstoppable. That is why that match against the Netherlands was much more than a hard-fought qualification. It was an emotional revelation. It was the day we saw that Messi could also dominate through fury, that he could also transform himself into a symbol of combat, that he could also look at the opponent with that expression that says without words, "Now you touched exactly where you should not have." And maybe that was the most shocking thing of all, that it did not feel artificial. It did not feel forced. It did not feel like a character trying to be something else. It felt genuine. It felt like another layer of Messi that had always existed, but had only rarely come to the surface with such clarity. The savage competitiveness, the wounded pride, the rebellion of someone tired of listening, the fury of someone who no longer intends to tolerate one more act of disrespect. And when that side appears in a normal player, it can cause mistakes. But when it appears in the best player of his era, it can create a historic night. That was the tragedy for the Netherlands. They thought chaos could weaken Argentina. They thought the emotional blow would favor them. They thought they could drag Argentina into a wild battlefield and come out better for it. But when you do that against a group that already feels like it is on a mission, with a captain who is playing for something bigger than a match, you run the risk of activating a different kind of energy. And that is exactly what happened. They activated the Messi who does not just want to win. They activated the Messi who wants to answer back. They activated the Messi who wants to leave a mark. They activated the Messi who, when he feels the world turn against him, becomes more Argentine, more of a leader, and more immense than ever. That is why that match was etched in memory in such a special way. Not only because of the drama, not only because of the penalties, not only because of the qualification. It stayed in memory because it shattered an old lie. The lie that Messi's serenity was a synonym for fragility. The lie that provoking him was a good idea. The lie that his greatness depended only on the beauty of his football. No, Messi knows how to fight too. He knows how to endure too. He knows how to look chaos in the face without lowering his head. And when he chooses to, he also knows how to turn anger into a form of leadership. Sometimes football needs nights like that to show you the true dimension of a legend. Not the comfortable nights, not the clean victories, not the matches where everything goes perfectly, but those other nights, the dirty ones, the nervous ones, the painful ones, the emotionally unbearable ones, the nights where playing well is not enough, the nights where you have to have soul, the nights where you have to absorb the blow, get back up, and return it. And Messi, that night, had soul to spare. Maybe that is why so many people remember it as one of the most powerful performances of his entire career with Argentina, even beyond the goals, the assist, or the penalties. Because it was a spiritual performance, a performance of character, a performance where the best in the world stopped being only the artist and became a warrior too. And that is the central point of this whole story. They did not wake up a talented player. They did not wake up a sensitive star. They did not wake up a nervous idol. They woke up the wrong Messi. They woke up the Messi who was already tired of waiting. The Messi who understood that that World Cup had to be his or nobody's. The Messi who was not going to allow another dream to be taken from him. The Messi who, when he feels attacked, does not retreat. He moves forward. And maybe that was the biggest mistake his rivals made for so many years, thinking that because he was serene, he was not fierce. Thinking that because he did not shout, he did not feel. Thinking that because he did not always step into the dirty game, he had no fire inside. But he did. He always did. It was just that night, in front of the whole world, they dared to light it. And when they lit that part of Messi, it was already too late. Because in the end, that was what we really saw in that match. Not just an extraordinary footballer, not just a captain pushing his national team forward, not just a legend moving closer to his destiny. We saw a man defending his place in history with everything he had. And when someone like that enters that state, maybe yes, maybe everyone should be afraid.